it's Denise from Motley Fabric. Thanks for joining me today to make a fall pumpkin. Now mine's more of a Halloween pumpkin because I've got a purple background, but if you got a kit through your school, you probably have brown. If you're just checking out my channel, you might have your own fabric and your own ideas about what you want to do. So I had to redo my opening because I messed up. I'm still kind of new to making videos. So I don't have a shot of all the unassembled pieces, but there is in the description a link to kind of a how-to sheet, and that lists all the pieces and their sizes. But again, if you got a kit through your school, you have everything you need. So I'm very excited to get sewing with you today to make this cute little pumpkin. Let's get started. All right, let's work on our leaf and stem. So you take the leaf portion and you get your little tiny background 1-inch squares, and all you have to do is put them on opposite corners. And you can decide if you want a leaf that comes off to the right side or a leaf that comes off to the left, okay? And, oops, this one's, you gotta put them right sides together. Sorry about that. So if I do it this way, my upper left, my lower right, my leaf will be on the right-hand side, like this one in this finished example. If I do it in the bottom left and upper right, then it's going to go the opposite direction. So the leaf will end up looking like, see if I can get it in there, kind of like that. Okay. So it's up to you to decide which direction you want your leaf to go. So once you put these on, you're just going to sew from these corners to this corner, right? If you want to, you can get a little pencil, a chalk, even a little pen if you do lightly. Just kind of draw yourself a little line like this. That can help you out. I just eyeballed mine, but you can do that too. So I took this one, I went ahead and sewed it. So this is what it looks like when you come back. And what you want to do now is trim this part. Okay, you can use scissors. I'm just going to quick use my rotary. So like this. Just cut it. Throw that away. Love to fling things. And then iron it open. Okay? Then when you're done trimming and ironing, then you want to put your stem on, okay? So if your leaf, this leaf is going to be on the left-hand side, right? Because we want the leaf to come out of the bottom of the stem. If we did it this way, that leaf makes no sense, right? It needs to come from the bottom. So when we do it this way, now we can see that the leaf is correctly on the right-hand side. So I've got my little stem piece here, and I'm going to put it right side down, right here. And then we're going to sew it, open it up, and then get another piece of background, like here I have this one, and put it on top of this one, face down. So here's a little scrap I'll show you. So if I've sewn this and I've opened it and I've ironed it down, then you put this one like this, so. And then when you open it up, it kind of looks like that. And I'm just using my little scrap piece here, so it's not very pretty, but I think you get the idea from it. And that's how we're going to make the stem. I'm very popular right now. The stem, I don't know if you can hear all this buzzing phones, and the leaf. Now it's time to move on to your pumpkin. So take your 5 strips and you're going to put them right sides together, okay? Like this. And sew along one edge. Then you open it, press it with the iron, and then come in and add another strip. Sew it, open it, press it. Now I've got one here that's 3, just to kind of show you, you do it one at a time. I sewed this to this, then I sewed this to these 2, then I would sew with another one on, and so forth until you get 5. So here's what that looks like. I've got my 5 strips. Now, just like we did with the leaf, we're going to do to all 4 corners of the pumpkin, but we're using the 1.5-inch strips. So it goes right sides together on all the corners. And we're going to sew on that angle that we did before, like this. And remember, you can draw the line if you wish, just like you did with the leaf. When it's all sewed together and you trim it and you press it, it's going to look, I'm trying to grab something here. It's going to look something like this on the top. And I just have these little samples so you can see what the next step is. Something like this. Then you'll take your stem and leaf, right sides together, like this, and sew that across. And when you open it, your little pumpkin part will be done. So I'm going to go do that now, and then I'll show you what we do once we have this little square done. So I sewed and pressed, and I even trimmed. Here's my little trim bits here, so that I have my little pumpkin. Our next step is to put the side pieces on. So we're going to go like this. Oh, it's a little bit long. That's okay. We're going to go like this, right sides together, sew along here. We'll get this one, sew along there, okay? And then we'll open it, and we can trim those little extra pieces at that time, but it's not necessary because then you'll take the top ones and go across the top, sew, and do the bottom ones. So, and it doesn't look like they match up right now, but that's because we have seam allowance. So, you know, this will get about a 1/4 inch thinner, this will get a 1/4 inch thinner. So that's kind of just how the quilting or the piecing part of this works. So I'll go add the top and the sides and the top and the bottom and come back and show you the final block. So here's my finished square. Now my next step is to adhere it to this fusible fleece. So if you look closely, this side of the fleece is pretty smooth. If you look on this side, it has lots of little dots. I don't know if you can see that. You can really feel it with your fingers. These are all little bits of adhesive. So you want to put your fleece down with the adhesive side up, and then put your pumpkin on top of it like this. So it'll glue to the other side of it. You're going to just press this with the iron and get it as nice and stuck on there as you can. Then when you've done that step, you take your back and you put it right sides together. And what we're going to do is sew around, but we're going to leave a little space open at the bottom. Okay? So you can pin it all the way around. I don't usually pin it, but if you are pinning, you can put 2 pins at the bottom, and that will tell you where to start and stop. I would do the pins even if I'm not pinning the rest of it, just so that I can keep track of where I am on my piece. Many times I've sewed something shut that I didn't mean to. So to sew it, you'll have this in your sewing machine. Right around here is where you'll start. And so you'll sew, sew, sew. And when you get toward the corner, right, you stop. You make sure your needle is down through the fabric, down into the bottom part of the machine. You're going to lift up the foot, and then with the the needle, we'll pretend this is the needle, sticking down like that, you can pivot it. Then you put your foot back down, and you keep sewing. And you're going to do that at every corner. One more time. Make sure the needle is down through the fabric. Then you lift up the foot, pivot your fabric, put the foot back down, and then you keep sewing. Okay? So remember though, when you start, you want to back stitch a little bit to keep it secure. So you're gonna go backwards and then forwards. Right? The fabric is going backwards and forwards. And then when you get around to this side, okay, you do the same, so that it doesn't come undone when we start turning it inside out. And that's where I'll meet you in the next step. Now that's done, I want to trim the corners a little bit. This will allow us, make sure you don't do right on that stitch line, okay? Just real close to it, like that. The reason we're doing this is so when we turn it right side out, it'll have nice pokey corners. Okay. All right. And now we have our opening down here, and we can turn it right side out. There you can see I poked the corners out as much as I can. So now we have a question. What do we do with this thing, right? And how do we handle this opening? Well, you can, if you have fluff, fill it, and you'll have like a tiny little decorative pillow that you could put on your bed or your sofa or something like that. And once it's all full, then you kind of fold this in here and sew it closed. Okay, you can use a ladder stitch. I think I probably need to do a tutorial pretty soon for that, but there's a lot of them on YouTube you can find or things you can read. And basically it's a stitch that's going to go back and forth and be hidden in the seam, similar to the way these machine stitches are hidden now that it's inside out. So that would be a pillow. Or what I'm going to do is iron this flat like this down here at the bottom, and then I'm going to put it through the machine one more time like this, all the way around. Okay, and then that's going to give me a nice little something that I can hang up. I can hang up on the wall, or, you know, I guess it could be, you know, like a little hot pad because it has that fleece inside. You can put a hot dish on it, or, you know, maybe you take it to the living room and put it on the coffee table and put a little bit of coffee cup on there or something like that. So it's all up to you what you want to do from now. Other ideas are to make more pumpkins. And then I could have maybe a pillow that has 4 pumpkins on it. One here, one here, one here, one here, right? Or it could just be a wall hanging that's a little bit bigger as well. So this is kind of the basic little kit that you had. I'll do one more little pass. So in my ending, when I say goodbye, you can kind of see the final product. But there you go. I bet you did an awesome job. And here we are. I'll finish off these strings a little bit later after turning off the video, but here you can see where I went around. And I am going to use this for my coffee in the morning. I'm going to just put it on my little glass tabletop I have by my recliner and, you know, use it there. So thank you so much for sewing with me today. I had a great time, and I'll see you in the next video.